In the headlines, Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors vows to continue strike until demands are met. Bandits kill cleric, abduct farmers in Kaduna State. Floods to displace 4.2 million Nigerians. And on the foreign scene, Mali drops French as official language. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thanks for joining us at this hour. We'll begin with an update on the industrial action where resident doctors have vowed to continue with their indefinite strike despite announcement of 25% increase of their basic salary by the government. President of Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Oji Emeka, said this at the end of the association's National Executive Council meeting in Lagos. The association says until government address their demands, which include one-for-one policy replacement for clinical workers, immediate payment of medical residency training fund, as well as payment of all outstanding salaries and arrears.
After critical considerations of the observations made above, the following resolutions were made. To continue the ongoing nationwide total and indefinite strike action until reasonable progress is made by the government to address her demands as contained in the ultimatum issued to the federal government on the 5th of July 2023 to demand the immediate release of the circular on one-for-one replacement of exited clinical workers, as we cannot continue to watch our members lose their lives and break down under the weight of work overload. To call on the governors of Abia State, Kaduna and Enugu State, as well as other states where our members' welfare is neglected, to, as a matter of urgency, look into these challenges in order to resolve them amicably. The NEC again appeals to the federal and state governments to urgently resolve these demands in order to forestall further escalation of the ongoing industrial disharmony in the health sector.
And now the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos State in a landmark judgment has ordered the disclosure of the spending details of over 200 billion naira public funds collected by the government of former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa from the Universal Basic Education Commission Fund and allocations from the Federation accounts. The court ordered the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborevwori, to disclose the details of budgetary allocations and actual spending by the Okowa government between 2015 and 2019, including specific projects carried out to improve primary education in Delta State and the locations of such projects. The judgment was delivered by Honorable Justice Daniel Osagio following a Freedom of Information suit brought by Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. In his judgment, Justice Osiago held that SERAP has cognizable legal right to inquire and know the way and manner public institutions manage public funds. I must say that every citizen has a duty to demand transparency and accountability in governance of public institutions according to the justice. Now, the Birnin Gwari Emirate Progressives Union has disclosed the death of the vice chairman of Jamaatul Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatus Sunnah, Jibwis Birnin Gwari branch, Malam Yakubu Muhammad Bugai, and 3 other farmers who were killed by rampaging bandits who have been unleashing terror in the area, with over 50 persons kidnapped in July alone. The Jibwis leader was shot on Wednesday at his farm located around Rema area and was later evaluated and taken to Jibril Maigwari General Hospital after sustaining gunshot wounds on his abdomen and arm, but passed on by 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. Until his murder, Malam Bugai was a strong pillar pioneer member and also the vice chairman of the Birnin Gwari Orphans Foundation, which is an organization devoted to taking care of thousands of orphans left behind by mostly victims of banditry in the security-ravaged local government. A statement issued by the BEPU chairman, Ishaq Usman Kasai, further disclosed that in another sad development, around Sabon Lai, Kurgi Yawa, Tashan Keji, Shiwaka, Unguan, Damfulani, and many more rural communities in western part of Birnin Gwari, who are sharing boundaries with Kamuku and Kuyambana forests, which are serving as hideouts of the bandits. Like number of locals were also kidnapped on their farms. Now, still in security matters, the Imo State Police Command has arrested 2 suspected members of an armed robbery syndicate who attacked a gold shop, resulting in a gun battle with law enforcement that ended with 1 other suspect dead. The Commissioner of Police, CP Mohammed Barde, represented by the Police Public Relations Officer Henry Okoye, disclosed this during a parade of suspected criminals and exhibits in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Okoye noted that the jewelry carted away from the gold store was allegedly worth about 500 million naira. The items recovered from the suspects included 2 pump-action guns, 4 locally made pistols, 8 rounds of live cartridges, and 1 expanded cartridge. The Rivers State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 12 suspects for their involvement in vandalism, oil theft, and illegal dealings in petroleum products. According to the command, the arrest is part of efforts geared towards curtailing oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and other crimes in the state. Here's that report.
Addressing newsmen during the parading of suspects at command headquarters in the state, the commandant, Basil Igubeze, said the fight against oil bunkering activities in Rivers State is not negotiable. Hence, economic saboteurs are either to desist from such heinous acts or face the full wrath of the law. Commandant Basil said he is determined to fight the menace of illegal oil bunkering activities, which over time has led to environmental degradation, pollution of land, aquatic life, and health hazards.
Prosecution of the Corps' mandate of combating pipeline vandalism and all the other aspects that threaten the critical national assets of the country, the Corps in Rivers State Command has made the following progress. 12 suspects have been arrested from different locations across the state and are hereby paraded for their involvement in pipeline vandalism, illegal drilling petroleum products, and allied matters. The Command's anti-vandal unit has impounded so far 5 vehicles, a bus with 36,950 liters of AGO and 51,225 liters of crude oil. This is in affirmation of the fact that there has been a change of pattern in the state and it is no longer business as usual. Commandant
NSCDC, Rivers State, Commandant Basil further revealed that based on sustained intelligence, the anti-vandal squad made an arrest at Okei Ungo Pala Road, Eche Asics, a grey Toyota Camry laden with 2,000 liters of AGO in sacks, while the suspect took to the hills upon sighting the anti-vandal squad. He warned the anti-vandal marine personnel to desist from any action that could smear the image of NSCDC, noting that the CG is also ready to motivate and reward diligent and dedicated officers.
Henceforth, every person or any criminal involved in anything that threatens the economic reality of the country by way of vandalism of any critical national asset will be made to bear the brunt of the law. Any personnel caught in aiding and abetting oil thieves or illegality in the waters would be dealt with according to extant regulations and law. The command will continue to synergize with relevant state agencies to combat oil theft in Rivers State particularly. Investigations are ongoing and into the cases of the arrest made, and you will be appropriately briefed or informed on the status of the cases in due course. All vandals or thieves are either to stop the activities or relocate as a devil's alternative to other areas where their activities can be welcomed.
Rivers State Commandant NSCDC, the command's herdsmen, further solicited for more credible intelligence from the public that will lead to arrest of unrepentant vandals and oil thieves in the state.
The Kano state government has reaffirmed its commitment to support the fight against the resurgence of poliovirus in the state. The state governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf, made the pledge during the official launch of the polio vaccination exercise in Gabasawa local government area. The governor, who was represented by his deputy, Aminu Abdul Salam Gwarzo, expressed concern over the resurgence of polio in 26 states, including Kano, following Nigeria's certification as polio-free by the World Health Organization on August 25, 2020. A statement by Ibrahim Garba Shuaibu, the press secretary to the deputy governor, noted that Yusuf said the decision to start the campaign in Gabasawa was because it had the highest ratio of unvaccinated children in the state as per health reports. Yusuf assured that all hospitals in the state will be improved to ensure an effective response to health issues. Also speaking, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Abubakar Labaran, urged parents to cooperate and ensure their children receive proper vaccination. He also announced that the Kano Primary Healthcare Development Agency would begin distributing syringes for vaccination in various local government areas from the following week. Still talking health matters, do you know the effect of tobacco on your health and economic status, or you just smoke without being mindful of the dangers associated? It's worth enough to know over 7.3 million lives lost, while 600,000 people who are mostly innocent die every year as victims of second-hand smokers. In this report, Salis Lawan discussed with experts on the dangers of tobacco in Yola. Let's take a look at the report.
Constitutionally legal, but very harmful to the health, tobacco products or usage is not only unfriendly to the human body, but it is dangerous to humanity as well as society in general. Stakeholders said the dangers of tobacco are enormous to both the health and economic well-being of people.
We need food. We don't need tobacco. And when you look at it very well, tobacco farming in Nigeria is not ideal because 1, it erodes our forests, 2, it kills our soils, 3, it endangers even the family's health, and number 4, it enslaves the family and the entire children. Number 5, it prevents the children from even going to school. Why? Because they need to meet up their quota with tobacco industry.
With concerns rising over the effect of tobacco usage in the society, stakeholders are soliciting for legislative action that will bring an end to the use of tobacco products instead of regulations.
Kamar mun girma mun sha sigari ko da mun zo mun daina, amma matsalan yanzu akwai yara namu wanda suka taso.
I was a smoker before and I was not unaware of the effect of tobacco to my life and economic status. If the government really want to help us, let them provide legislation that will end tobacco use in Nigeria.
I do not take tobacco or its product, but I know a sizable number of my friends that lose their dignity and to some extent their lives due to tobacco use. Tobacco is dangerous.
Acting Director, Public Health, Ministry of Health Adamawa, Dogara Paul, who emphasized the effect of tobacco, also explained that it drains families and kills millions.
Smoking is bad for health. Secondhand smoking is very bad for the health. So whether you smoke or you live around people that smoke, all of you are in danger. So it doesn't matter if you're the one that is smoking directly or if you decide to take what they call e-cigarette. E-cigarette is also very dangerous for the health. It affects the vital organs, it affects the heart, it affects the lungs, it affects even the tissues under the skin.
Experts said yearly tobacco kills over 8 million people around the globe, while 29,000 human lives are lost every year in Nigeria. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly,
with the coming of the harvest season,
we'll take a look at expectations of 2023 harvest season.
Decimal.
Details of this story and more to come after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at some of our major stories. We told you that the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors vowed to continue strike until demands are met. Also, bandits kill cleric, abduct farmers in Kaduna State. Now, moving on to other stories, the International Organization for Migration has warned that 4.2 million Nigerians are at risk of displacement as the annual rainy season intensifies in 2023. This prediction is part of the IOM's 2023 Nigeria Response Overview Disaster Preparedness Plan issued in response to the country's growing threat of climate-induced disaster. According to the report, an estimated $20 million will be needed to secure the most vulnerable populations against the inevitable floods through shelter and relocation efforts from May to October. The National Emergency Management Agency said the 2012 flood disaster, the worst in over 40 years, displaced nearly 2.3 million people, killed 363 and destroyed or damaged about 597,476 houses. In October 2022, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development revealed that floods displaced over 1.4 million people, killed over 603 persons and injured more than 2,400 persons. Also, over 82,035 houses were damaged, with 676,000 hectares of farmlands affected. Now, residents of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, have been welcoming the 2023 harvest season with joy and high expectations. This, they say, is due to the fact that the cost of providing food will drastically reduce with the coming of maize and other food crops that are relatively affordable for the common man. Let's take a look at that report.
With the coming of the harvest season, sites like women selling roasted corn along the street are now a recurring decimal. For these women, it is business time, and it is therefore an economic booster of their homes.
This place, as I sell and finish, I get, if I buy the one bag, I was selling like 16,000. As I buy like 8,000, as I sell like 16,000. Again, it's like I As I buy 2 bags, I'm selling sometimes market day. I go sell like 20 something. If milk go finish, you know go finish on time. But to go still manage them, get them small. But again, they inside the market well.
To the consumers, there's a huge sigh of relief as one can easily deal with hunger with 1 cob of corn, which cost an average of 100 naira. The residents said in spite of inflation, maize is affordable for even those who are not primary farmers or producers.
Well, I want to appreciate God so much for helping us because we experienced hunger from the month of January up to June. When people now begin to harvest corn, we discovered that the hunger reduced because for you to keep yourself busy, at least you eat corn so that you sustain yourself. So now hunger has reduced. Like now they are selling 100 now, but before then they used to sell 150 or 200. But now even 15 ourselves, when you beg somebody, they can even give you the maize of 15 or even 100. So the thing is getting better gradually.
It's better now because with your 100 naira you can buy a corner and take your water and be satisfied.
Unlike the month of June and early July, smiles are returning to the faces of many who said during harvest seasons, food crops come in abundance and are affordable in all markets. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Now away from Nigeria, with its new constitution, Mali has dropped French, which has been the country's official language since 1960. According to reports, under the new constitution, passed overwhelmingly with 96.91% of the vote in a June 18 referendum, French is no longer the official language. Although French will be the working language, 13 other national languages spoken in the country will receive official language status. Mali, which has about 70 other local languages spoken in the country, and some of them, including Bambara, Bobo, Dogon, and Minyanka, were granted national language status under a 1982 decree. Recall that Mali's junta leader, Colonel Assimi Goïta, put the country's new constitution into effect, marking the beginning of the Fourth Republic in the West African nation. According to the presidency, Mali's military, since taking power in an August 2020 coup, has maintained that the constitution will be critical to rebuilding the country. Mali witnessed 2 subsequent coups in recent years, one in August 2020 and the other in May 2021. The junta had initially promised to hold elections in February 2022, but later delayed them to February 2024. The decision by Mali to drop French comes at a time of growing anti-France sentiments across West Africa due to its perceived military and political interference. Now, Senegal's opposition leader Ousmane Sonko has been charged with plotting an insurrection and other new offenses. The new charges follow the detention of Sonko, who has been serving his sentence at home for questioning at a police court in the Senegalese capital, Dakar, on Friday. He remains in custody. Abdul Karim Diop, Senegal's public prosecutor, told reporters the new charges stem from comments Sonko made and rallies he held, as well as other episodes since 2021, including an incident at his home before his arrest on Friday. In addition to fomenting insurrection, the new charges include undermining state security, acts aimed at jeopardizing public security and creating serious political unrest, criminal association with a terrorist body, and theft. There was no immediate comment from Sonko's legal team. And now, lastly, to sports news, Morocco defender Nouhaila Benzina has made history by becoming the first player to wear a hijab at a World Cup. The 25-year-old wore the Islamic headscarf as she made her first appearance at the tournament in her size 1-0 win over South Korea. The wearing of head coverings for religious reasons was authorized by FIFA in 2014. Morocco are one of 8 teams making their debut at this summer's Women's World Cup. Benzina, who plays her club football in Morocco, is the first player to wear a hijab at a senior women's international tournament. She was an unused substitute during her country's opening game against Germany, which they lost 6-0. And now still in sports, Barcelona continued their pre-season tour of the USA with a 3-0 win over Real Madrid in Arlington, Texas. Ousmane Dembele's early goal was followed up by late strikes from Fermin Lopez and Ferran Torres. New signing Jude Bellingham played for Barca's El Clasico rivals Real, and England midfielder's header was one of 5 real efforts that struck the woodwork. At the AT&T Stadium, new Barca signing Oriol Romeu was the first to hit the woodwork at the home of the NFL's Dallas Cowboys as he rattled the real crossbar with a thundering drive in the 4th minute. And with that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social media platforms. Join our YouTube live stream to watch more news updates, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Many thanks for watching.